Kelly, if he would change, knowing what he's done. Well, I guarantee you ask anyone in this room now, and we would change. We would change for the better.
Now speak for yourself, kiss ass. Kiss my ass.
You could have died finding some humanity or humility.
I'd rather go out in style.
Maybe we do deserve to die.
I just wish I knew why.
What, you two are ready to give up? You're both ready to die? Well, fuck you both. Okay, never give up. Look, I've lived through worse than this, and I'll live through this.
Worse than this, Kelly? What could possibly be worse than this?
Well, back when you and I were still dating, I was stupid enough in this day and age to think that I could walk to my car alone at night. Some sweaty, bald-headed bastard grabbed me from behind, threw me in his van. He bashed my head on the steel flooring, and I was dazed, but I could see that there was already blood there. This wasn't his first time. He put his hand over my face as he ripped my clothes off. Well, it's like my brain didn't really register the pain. I just kept thinking about how I was gonna get this guy, this thing, you know, and I was gonna put him away for the rest of his life. I kept imagining the courtroom and how I would be looking into his eyes and I would say, "I'm the one that ruined your life." But then I realized we weren't in a courtroom. There was no judge, no jury. It was just me and the shithead who thought he could put his hands all over me. The fuck was this guy to violate me, to take my life? What right did he have to touch me? I wasn't scared. I was furious.
Why didn't you tell me, Kelly? We could have done something about that.
You could have searched everywhere. You never would have found him. When he was done, he rolled off me, and I saw that there was a baseball bat in his van, and I grabbed it and I hit him hard, you know. And I stepped back to thinking someone must have seen, someone must have heard, but as I waited for someone to come help me, I hit him again, and then I hit him again, and I just kept swinging. And he just kept screaming. You know, and he begged. Can you believe that? I swear, I think it maybe hit him harder. And then he just stopped screaming. He stopped moving. And I looked around again, and still no one was there. No one heard, no one cared. So I went home and I cleaned up and I burned the bat in my fireplace. And I just went on with my life. Like that, it was just over. And the next day when they found his body, I made sure no one went looking for his killer. And now I'm here. And I promise you, I will live through this, and I will survive at all costs.
What about rape? We all heard Coogan. He didn't care if it was boys or girls. And if he was in the same prison with Wade, why not a 20-year-old kid?
We did this to him.
How could I have known what was going to happen to him?
Think about Wade Greeley. An innocent kid, and all the things he went through. And think about his father. Having to think about what happened to his son. Think about that.
When Coogan was shot, when Greeley came in here and shot him, what did Coogan say?
I don't remember.
What are you thinking?
He said something about splatter and killing everyone or something like that.
Maybe you should move him out of the way of the splatter. I'd hate to see somebody die before you get a chance to kill him yourself.
Yeah, he was being a smartass. He was talking about the bullet. If it went through him and killed somebody else.
I thought the same thing. But what if that's not what he meant? What if the joke was about something else? His blood, for instance. His infected blood. What if Coogan had AIDS?
Whoa, that's a big stretch, Eddie.
Not really. That's the final piece of our timeline. It starts with Christian borrowing money from Sully.
I know you.
Says you?
We did some business together years ago.
But then he loses that money after a bad drug deal and ends up in jail. When he gets released, he buys a gun from Leon. Uses it to rob Chan's liquor store because he still owes Sully the money. Then Chan picks Wade Greeley out of the lineup. Kelly makes sure the evidence fits her case and uses Jackson to secure that evidence against Wade for the trial. Father Francis learns the truth during confession, but being bound by God, says nothing. So Wade ends up in prison where he has a run-in with Coogan. And that's how I'm tied into all this.
So why are you here?
Back around the time when Wade would have been released from prison, my company had acquired the exclusive rights to an experimental drug therapy for AIDS patients. It was said to prolong the life of people living with AIDS. It was very new and expensive. I think Coogan infected Wade Greeley with AIDS, and the reason Wade's dad waited 2 years is because that's exactly how long his son lived outside of prison, before he died.
It's his father, acting out revenge for the death of his son.
Wade must have been one of the applicants for the new AIDS drug. Part of my job was to turn down applicants. Improper insurance, not enough money, wrong age, and criminal records. I was the one whose name was signed to all the letters denying applicants. If I had accepted Wade into the program, he might be alive today. That's it. That's the answer he's looking for.
So why are you here?
Because your son died of AIDS. He contracted it in prison from Coogan. When he was released, you tried to get him into my company's drug therapy program. But I turned him down. Your son could be alive today if we all hadn't turned our backs on him, and on you.
He was so beautiful. My son was a very brave and lovely boy, and all of you made sure that he would never grow up to be a man. But it didn't have to end this way. Any one of you could have prevented his death, but you all saw him as a suspect or a number, toy to be played with. His only fault was that he became a part of your lives. But it was his life. And you destroyed it. When we leave here, my life will end, but you will all still have yours. And I want you to remember, just remember this. Remember what it is you have done.